Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, election night. Returns are coming in, and it's March 4th, 2008. This is the Austin Cast video podcast, and we've got a guest who is heading to South by Southwest tonight. His name is Dave Delaney. Dave was in his... he was a little pimply teenager, and he operated a BBS on his Commodore 64. And
Yes.
I'm going to turn it over to him. He can introduce himself. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, I'm Dave Delaney. I am a blogger. I blog at davemadethat.com, or actually blog.davemadethat.com. And I work for an email marketing company in Nashville, Tennessee called Emma. myemma.com for that. And I am a Twitter head, social networking nut. I'm huge into social media. Can't say it tonight, apparently. And I'm a podcaster as well.
What for?
All around nice guy. And I'm Canadian. I'm from
Canadian.
Toronto.
All right. And you're in Tennessee. How do you like Tennessee? How's the Tennessee life treating you?
It's been great. Nashville is an incredible city. The people are amazing. There's a great scene here. When I moved here with my wife and kids about 7-8 months ago now, and met up with a guy named Marcus Whitney who worked at Emma, and later I got hired at Emma. But when we first met, he's from Brooklyn originally, and he's been living in Nashville for about 6 or 7 years now, and so he knows the scene quite well. And we decided to do a bar camp together. And so last August 18th, we had our first bar camp and really brought people together and sort of out from all sorts of different areas in Nashville, different, career paths and such. And then we did the same thing again with another fella named Kelly Stewart, where I did Pod Camp Nashville just recently. So it's been great. It's been amazing meeting all the people in Nashville. And there's an amazing tech community here that, people don't necessarily consider when they're thinking about, certain towns or American cities with great scenes. So it's pretty exciting.
So if we wanted to subscribe to your podcast, say on iTunes, how would we find you? What keyword would we type in on iTunes?
It depends if you're looking. I've got two podcasts. I've got a podcast called Two Boobs and a Baby Plus. It's called Plus now because we added another baby to the show. Our ratings were slipping, so you have to add a baby when the ratings slip.
There you go.
We're actually number 2 we're usually between number 2, number 3, occasionally number 1. If you go in the iTunes Music Store and you search parenting.
Okay.
We've been in the game a while. We've been podcasting since October 2005. So we've been doing it a little while. And then I've got another podcast called The Nothing Show. And if you search in iTunes Music Store for Twitter, or The Nothing Show, but Twitter, you'll find it pretty quickly. And that is a comedy, an improvised comedy podcast I do with Tim Coyne from the Hollywood Podcast, where it's quite obscure and pretty wacky and pretty weird, but it's actually a lot of fun, and we've been getting a great response from it. And what it is an improvised comedy podcast based on Twitter tweets. And how that works is I choose a Twitter account, somebody I'm following, and Tim does the same. And then we print out about 5 or 6 pages of their most recent tweets. And then we have a call. Tim's based in Los Angeles, and I'm based in Nashville. And then we do a 10-minute podcast just using those tweets as the script. And it's pretty wild.
Oh, okay. What's your Twitter name on Twitter?
Dave. On Twitter, it's Dave Delaney, Delaney. Sorry, I got a little frog in my throat here.
That's okay. How many followers do you have on Twitter?
About 700.
That's good.
Yeah. It's about 700 now.
And
so get up and sorry.
This conversation reminds me a little of the Daily Show where Hillary was talking to John Daly. Did you see that last night?
No, I didn't. I missed it last night.
She would start to talk, and they were trying to out polite each other. She says, "Oh no, you. Oh you. Oh no, you. No, no." And then finally said, He said, well, Hillary's in Austin, Texas, and I'm on Mars, so there's a little delay, you know.
Nice. Was she actually a guest on the Daily Show?
Yeah, she was a guest last night.
Oh, I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah, I think she's doing well in Ohio right now, but so far in Texas, it's not looking as good as she might have hoped for, I think. So we'll see. It's a long night, right?
Yeah, it's an exciting time. I'm being Canadian and new here. I mean, I am legal here, but I can't actually vote. So that's the only thing I can't do here. I can't vote. So, you know, it hurts.
Yeah, well,
I'd love to have my 2 cents.
There you go. So marketing is your mainstay, is that right?
That's right. Yes.
So tell us about your email marketing. How does that work? And what is a new media specialist? What do they do?
Well, I'm very fortunate to work for a cool company. I've worked for a lot of traditional broadcasting company or broadcast media companies, and I started working in marketing publicity for small theater productions in Toronto, for a small theater production marketing publicity company, and did a lot of smaller theater in Toronto, but we never had a budget to do anything truly innovative as far as online stuff goes. And then I got hired by a company called Mervish Productions, which is Canada's largest theater production company, and they hired me on as marketing manager for the Toronto production of Hairspray, John Waters' musical that off of Broadway. And so I worked on that show as marketing manager, and so I got to do some online stuff, but not a lot. And then from there, I worked for Canada's largest newspaper, the Toronto Star, and then I worked for the second largest television network, Global Television. And in those 2 companies, I wanted to do a lot of innovative online stuff, but unfortunately, you have to get to the top to get kind of okayed on a lot of different initiatives. And, it's difficult in bigger companies to do that. And I'm lucky now working for Emma, because Emma has hired me specifically as a new media specialist. And so my role there is to monitor the brand online and make sure that people are saying nice things, and to find out, if anyone isn't, to figure out why. And luckily that hasn't come up. But it's an amazing role, an amazing company. When I started back in May, we were based in a house on 21st in Nashville, and in that house there was maybe 25 of us. It was kind of cramped, and it was 40 of us when we moved recently to our own office. And we've got 2 floors of a newly renovated office building and 50 plus employees now, and it's in 6 months it's been growing like crazy. So anybody who says there's no money or business in email marketing is full of beans, because it's alive and well. So, but it's been an amazing place. I mean, I'm looking, they brought me on to look at, study more about analytics, Google Analytics, and yeah, just basically monitor things online. Yeah, that's primarily what I do there.
When you get to Austin, we'll try to do a live interview with you, and we'll go into a little more depth on that email marketing. Okay, if we can hook up with you when you're at South by Southwest.
Yeah, I'd love to, for sure.
So we'll go into a little more detail. So what else is what's the hottest social networking trend right now in your mind?
In my mind, I mean, it is microblogging and Twitter specifically. And I've been saying to some people, here and there, and I blogged about it, whether South by is either going to make or break Twitter, and it's I'm a huge Twitter fan. First of all, I love Twitter. I mean, I've got a podcast about it. I'm a huge fan of Twitter. But I am nervous because South by, suddenly you're going to have about anywhere between 4,000 to 7,000 people. Certainly the interactive side, there's 4,000 plus attendees for the interactive side, and most of which I imagine will be on Twitter, whether it's on a mobile device or whether it's on their laptops or what have you. And Twitter has had its issues with being up and being down and crashing. It crashed during the Steve Jobs keynote recently, and this is going to be the event. Last year at Austin, that at South by, that was real birth, not the birth, but it was certainly the beginning of Twitter, and it's what got Twitter on the map. And so it's the same people that brought it alive can kill it pretty quickly too. And there's competition like JaiQ and Pounce and things now. So my concern is that if Twitter doesn't stay stable throughout South by, then I think there might be a mass exodus. So Twitter's the big one right now, and that's what I'm excited about.
Well, it sure was in the last South by Southwest. I sure got a lot of Twitter followers during South by Southwest last year, and I haven't gotten a whole lot since, but I think I'm up to 2,600 now followers on Twitter.
I've seen you on there. Yeah, you've been on there quite a while now. Yeah, I mean, I just got back from PodCamp Toronto, and just PodCamp Toronto, I got about 70 new people following me, and I think it's it's partly because I actually did a presentation on Twitter at PodCamp Nashville, and then I redid the presentation at PodCamp Toronto, just about sort of building your brand in 140 characters or less, as the title went. So, but working on branding on Twitter and building your audience, building your followers, blah blah blah.
Okay, give me the quick take now. What's on your hot list for who are you going to see? What panels are you going to go to? What events and parties are you going to go to? What's on your hot list for South by Southwest?
You know what? I've been working. Emma's actually a sponsor of South by, and so I've been working a little bit with the South by folks, and they're a great bunch of people. But I have to admit, up until just today, the website has been confusing. It's been difficult to navigate, to figure out exactly who is speaking. And since I'm a South by virgin, this is my first time going to South by Southwest. So up until today, and only just this afternoon, I printed out the list of speakers by time, because I looked at it. Initially, I looked at it, and I just couldn't figure. I mean, it listed everybody speaking, but it didn't list when, so I couldn't really figure out. I didn't really look at it very hard. So
I'll send you a link. They actually have a schedule of panels, and you can find it on the interactive main page.
Oh, great.
So you can get that there. Yeah, you just have to dig a little deeper. But would you mind looking us up when you get to Austin, and we've got a high def camera we're bringing there, and we'll do an interview with you on the scene there.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic. I mean, I'm even though I sound like I'm totally not prepared. I am extremely excited, and the people that I have talked to who are South by veterans have all sort of told me, you know what, dude, just get there and wing it, because I think it's just gonna flow as soon as I get there. I mean, I know I'm on Twitter, so I'll be following what's going on, and you can bet I'll be there. So, but mainly as far as speaker sessions go, mainly social networking, new media marketing that's sort of my bag. So that's the stuff I'm most interested in. I'm certainly interested to see CC Chapman speak. I've seen him. We had him here speaking at PodCamp Nashville, and he's a great guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing CC. I'm really looking forward to just seeing a lot of people and meeting a lot of people for the first time too. These relationships that we've established through social networking, be it blogging or microblogging or what have you, through podcasting. It's when you actually meet these people in the flesh and have a hug or handshake or high five or whatever the case may be, and share a beer or have a couple beers. Not share a beer. We're not that bad.
Well, man, I tell you about beers. Last year at Scoble's thing, he and AMD put on a barbecue out at the Salt Lick. It's way out of town, but everybody brought beer. There were so many beers there. There was enough beers for we could have had a week's worth of parties with all the beers they brought there. But there's some great events and great things happening there, and Austin's a great town. I think you'll have a great time. And I'm looking forward to meeting you and videoing you in person. And the baby thing. What about this baby thing? What's up with that?
With my podcast, you mean?
Yeah.
Two boobs and a baby. What, like, specifically just what?
Do you have babies in the house there? Is that it?
I do. Yes, I've got two. I've got a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh, okay. And they're probably sound asleep right now, right?
They are, yes. A little bit of time to relax. But I was gonna actually tell you something. I haven't actually told many. I've only told a few people, but something we're doing for South by with Emma. It's just Emma's like a really cool. I mentioned how cool we are with stuff that we do, but this is really cool. We're sponsoring the lanyards, so all South by Southwest interactive folks are going to have a green lanyard with Emma's name on the side, blah, blah, blah. But there's actually a website, and what we're doing is you go onto the website and vote to plant a tree. And if we get 1,000 votes during the course of South by Interactive, we'll plant 1,000 trees. Like, there's no strings attached, and you don't have to buy anything or anything like that. It's just a matter of voting yes to plant a tree.
In Austin? Are you going to plant them in Austin?
I don't actually, to be honest, I don't know. We're doing it through Plant It 2020, which is a very cool initiative that we've worked with before, that are a nonprofit that do the tree planting, but they make sure that they're in. They do plant in the U.S., and it is going to be in the U.S. I'm not sure exactly where yet, and we might have a vote, perhaps on the blog, to determine where they'll be planted after the fact. But I'm not sure where they'll be planted yet. But it's going to be pretty cool.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll look forward. We'll do part 2 when you get to Austin. And
yeah, sounds great.
And hope you have a great time. And thanks for doing that. And before you bow out, tell us your web address and how to get your podcasts again.
Okay, yeah. I mean, everything I do, you can find at DaveMadeThat.com. If you go there, click my face or Dave Delaney at the top, or the blog link, and that'll take you to my blog. And all the links to everything I do are on my blog. So 2 Boobs and a Baby, plus the podcast, Nothing Show, the podcast, Emma, where I work, and everything else, Twitter. Everything I do is listed on there. So you can find me there.
Great. I had a great time talking to you, and look forward to meeting you.
Thanks,
have a good night, and bye for now.
Too. Okay, good night.
Bye-bye.